Hello YouTube, here I am again to talk about Star Citizen. I have a lot of close friends whom I often play online games with. We played World of Warcraft together, Rift, Star Wars, The Old Republic, Diablo 3 and a lot of others. But just as of now, we have no actual game that we are addicted to, besides of Dota 2. Speaking of Dota 2, we are well on our way to 0 MMR. I think we should get t-shirts printed out and do some let's plays under that title. We are really that horrible, but we do have fun. The theory is, when we have reached the absolute bottom of the matchmaking system, there will come the day when we will steamroll over our opponents, if they are even worse at Dota 2 than we are. Only problem is, those guys do not exist. But Dota 2 aside, I have long tried to win them over to Star Citizen as our next game to go to. But the interest of my best buddies has so far been mediocre at best. I will take a look when it is done. Is it released yet? I guess you know the rest of the story. But recently, we were having a male-only weekend with barbecue and long PlayStation sessions. Then, late at night, I asked them to watch some YouTube videos with me. Sneaky git that I am, I convinced them to watch the Homestead demo. And boy, did that open some mouths. Man, this looks really astonishing. But then the question arose. Although this looks really great, it feels kind of fake. It is so heavily scripted. Why does he go there in the first place? Why can't he land on the crash site? What would real gameplay look like? With a grin, I convinced them to watch the Gamescom 2016 demo with me. I felt very sure that I was sitting beside two Star Citizens in the making, and according to plan, my pals were open-mouthed in wonder. Boah, this looks really great. I smirked a victorious grin. I told you so for years. But then I got bitch-slapped by a question I have not been prepared for. But where is the fun? I was dazzled. What do you mean with where is the fun? Are you blind? Open your eyes, it's right there in front of you on the screen. But then my other pal joined in. No, really, where is the fun? I was baffled and answered, are you kidding me? The whole quest has been a hell of a ride. Did you not see all of the different gameplay actions? Shady side quests with a twist, exploration, aviation, outer space combat and planet gameplay, looting, first-person shooting, vehicle combat and hovercraft chases. You must be joking, right? But they weren't joking. So fine, you got the quest. What did the pilot do? The pilot? Well, he did fly the freelancer, of course. Did he have the quest too? Did he get his share? Oh, I assume so. Did not look like that to us. Come on, guys. The other player was just there for proving that this is a multiplayer game. No tricks, no walls, no instancing, no fake elevators that are hidden loading screens. Can't you tell? The other player was not really needed for the quest. He could have flown on his own. Yeah, but we are buddies. We played together. What did the other player do while you were smooth talking to the shady guy in the Grimlock bar? Well, he waited. Yes, he waited for you picking up a quest. What does he do in his freelancer while you stroll around the station? Well, I don't know. He could have accompanied the first player and taken another seat, or waited for you to get the quest and then get it too, or do only you get the quests? Well, I don't know. This was just a demo. I think it is not decided yet. I could have paid you for flying around if it was not possible to share quests. Yes, but that is not fun. And while you were floating around the Starfarer, downloading logbooks and fighting pirates, what did the pilot do? Well, he waited, of course. Sorry, but this is just boring. You could have accompanied me if you wanted to, I uttered. And then somebody stealing my ship? No way! Slowly I was grasping the problems that my friends had. We were super hyped for Star Wars: The Old Republic, but the game was just not fun as a multiplayer experience. It was basically a single-player game where multiplayer has been tacked on through instances and raids, but the multiplayer part and game always felt kinda lacking. It was not a genuine, joyful experience, and after 2 months, there was nothing left to do. So I tried to win them over. I was talking about capital ships and organizations, which in the end only led us to the same backyard talk that have started that conversation. Okay, so now you are the pilot of a Javelin destroyer, and I am a gunner. What do I do on the destroyer? Well, you sit in a turret. And if there's nothing to shoot at, am I sitting there idling around or wasting my time? Well, you could of course leave your gunner seat and do something else. For example, well, I don't know. Walk around the ship? That is not really gameplay that I want to spend my evening with. I could fly somewhere where you get something to shoot at. What if I can't play for 2 weeks? What is when you outlevel me? There are no levels in Star Citizen. This is no RPG. Yeah, but you would be playing, getting richer and getting a better ship while I am still stuck with my Aurora. You would be winning. There is no winning in Star Citizen. You are my buddy. We are on the same team. Remember World of Warcraft. If I would outlevel you, I would help you catching up. I would help you with your quests and give you money for your mount. It's the same principle. It is needless to say, I did not win over 2 new Star Citizens that night. I got catched left-footed and rather unprepared. But after some thinking, it struck me. The question is totally legit. Where is the fun? If something is not fun, why would you want to spend hours and hours of your spare time with it? It does not matter how fancy something is or looks. Star Wars: The Old Republic was something that couldn't fail either after my opinion, and still it did. It is true, it was not fun. Wonderful voiceovers, the music, lightsabers, the Force and all, but after 2 months, I felt bored playing the game. It is the same everywhere. If you can't enjoy what the game has to offer, you will not stick around. That's why I cancelled my EVE Online subscription. That's why I cancelled Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am 100% certain that a lot of Star Citizen backers do have difficulties too, convincing their friends that are still undecided that Star Citizen will be worth their time. How do we win them over? How do we know if we are right? So let's talk about fun then, and where to possibly find it in Star Citizen or Squadron 42. Is it there at all? Firstly, we can all assume that it is safe to say that Squadron 42 will most certainly be a blast to play, as it has a lot to offer. It will be a great narrative with deep emotional connection due to great writing and even greater actors whom we beloved that bring the story to life. It is a single-player game with the most diverse gameplay you can think of. Dogfighting, crash landing on planets, shooting your way through enemies, stealing enemy ships, fighting the antagonist that we just love to hate in a one-on-one throne room battle and saving the day. Or at least, that's how I assume it will be. If you liked Wing Commander, or the Mass Effect series, or the TV show Battlestar Galactica, Squadron 42 is a safe bet. This will not fail. Gary Oldman was full of praise. 60 missions, cutscenes, a war scenario, mankind at the brink of extinction, saving the day against all odds. Yeah, Chris Roberts has proven that he knows what he does when it comes to single-player games. Take Wing Commander, take Strike Commander, and then you get a lot of credibility. If you like single-player games of that kind, you will not even have to touch Star Citizen. Squadron 42 alone will be worth your time and it will be fun for sure. But let's talk about Star Citizen, shall we? The game wants to stick around for a decade or longer, so it better has some tricks up its sleeve to keep our attention, right? And here is the catch. You have to acknowledge that different people might have quite different definitions of fun than you. If we were all alike, we would all be playing Battlefield, but we don't. Some enjoy playing FIFA, some enjoy playing Hearthstone, some love The Witcher 3, others play Civilization or XCOM. People play games for different reasons. You play what you like. Your definition of a good time might differ very much from those of your buddies. In the end, what you consider fun is dependent on which player archetype you are. I have identified 10 different kinds. The champion, also known as the power gamer, is often found in multiplayer games. They ache to compete. They want to be among the chosen few, world first in everything, and be part of a renowned guild or organization. They take gaming very seriously and enjoy being part of an elite minority. They are willing to invest a lot of time in the game. They need continuous challenges to defend their position at the top. The lack of challenges, and thus competition, gets them easily bored, so some kind of endgame is a must. They also love achievement hunting. Many tend to PvP if challenging PvE gameplay is lacking. They like to meddle and compete with others, and are by far the most invested player group. The socializer is a player that likes to socialize and enjoy being with others. They are care bears and rather communicative and helpful. Winning is not their main gaming purpose, but achieving something together at their own pace gives them joy. They play as a way to get some genuine human interaction, possibly making some real-life friends along the way. The lone wolf is the opposite of the socializer. A player that does rather prefer doing his own things, although in a multiplayer game. He would rather play on a private server if that was an option. He plays the game as if it was a single-player title. He gets quite frustrated if team play is forced upon him, as he has difficulties socializing, talking to strangers and finding a group. As long as it is possible for him minding his own business and there's something for him to do, he is just fine. The grindhouse is a player type that actually enjoys grinding. Doing something repetitively, if it is combined with achievement of personal progress, gives him fun. This is a gaming concept we find a lot in Asian games, but also in the Diablo series, and a lot of MMORPGs do have it too. Having done something for hours to gain some progress in form of level, skills or rare equipment and loot feels very rewarding. It is a character trait that you also find in the champion, aka the power gamer, but the grindhouse does not necessarily have the same ambition. He endures repetitive gameplay for advancement, which he draws the most joy out. The explorer is a player that likes to discover things. They are completionists that enjoy finding secrets and hidden Easter eggs. They hate to progress to the next section of a game while there are still unvisited areas or unfinished quests on the actual map. The journey is the purpose, arriving ends it all. The turtles' motto is also theirs. Those who go slowly have more to discover along the way. They are often heavily interested in game lore and hate rushing through the game. Leveling is just a requirement for unlocking new areas, not the game's purpose. The part-timer is a casual player that does not have the same amount of time to invest in gaming like the grinder or the power gamer. They like games where they have a rather even chance of winning in spite of not being heavily invested. Buy to win or uneven PvP drives them off quite fast. They don't like steep learning curves or equipment requirements for certain parts of the game that they cannot easily obtain. But as long there's something to do that is rather easy to learn, hard to master, and can be accomplished in under an hour, they are happy. In a typical MMO, they tend to be the bulk of the player base, considering their numbers at least. The pack leader. The pack leader is a player that draws personal satisfaction in having control over others. They want to lead. He is typically a raid or a guild leader. He wants to achieve something in a group while having the hands on the wheel. He thrives if he has the control and is often willing to invest real money to ensure his leader's status. They invest in websites, TeamSpeak, guild servers and so on to make their position rather undisputable. You will find a lot of those among the rear admirals in Star Citizen. The achiever. No pack leader without some cattle. Meh. Okay, cattle of course is a rather unflattering description. The achiever is a player that wants to be part of something big, but doesn't necessarily have the ambition or skill to lead. They enjoy experiencing gameplay that a large percentage of the player base will statistically never see. They are willing to go long ways to be accepted in a good group. They are typically grinding-oriented to ensure a place aboard and take orders quite well. They are often achievement hunters and have no problems being a crewman in a multiplayer ship, even if there's not much to do most of the time. But if there is something to do, it tends to be spectacular. They are typically members of raid-oriented groups or organizations. The Griever is a player that everybody hates. In real life, he's a sad troll with a sad life. He feels happy if he can best others and giving them a miserable time. This helps him in distracting himself from his own miserable life for at least a little while. In his alter life, he's an internet troll with a passion. He lends heavily to open PvP and likes to use cheats and glitches if he can get away with it. He only messes with players that are much weaker than him. He has, however, not much in common with other players that tend to PvP, as they are not really in for a challenge. And last but not least, the role player. Well, the list wouldn't be complete without this archetype, would it? They are talking in character. They are the first to learn their emotes by heart, and what the game mechanic does not provide, they imagine. They love if they can animate others to switch into game character. They also are typically invested in game lore. Some ignore them, some hate them, but they certainly enrich every MMO community. Man, I'm almost making a science out of this, don't I? But I think you get the idea. No player is one gamer archetype only. Each player is rather a mix of different archetypes that he is leaning to with different strong preferences. If you are a grinder, you will love trading or mining, doing the same thing for hours, earning credits, buying bigger and better ships. But if you are a socializer, you might start with a constellation, space for 3 more players, or as a Cutlass Red owner, saving people that are in need of help. You even might end up making helpful guides for others and putting them up on YouTube. What you need to understand is, Star Citizen is a big game. But it is not only so and so. It is not only the Gamescom demo, or the Homestead demo, or Arena Commander. It is not all about trading or dogfighting. Star Citizen is a huge sandbox that has endless possibilities and something in store for each and every one of us. It does not matter what you love or what you hate. What you make out of Star Citizen is totally up to you. You just have to be true to the player type that you are. If you hate grinding, for God's sake, don't trade, don't mine. But if you are a lone wolf or a grinder, absolutely do so. If you are a griever, you might find the pirate's way is your way. Not saying that every pirate is a griever, but you will find them amongst that group certainly. If you are a role player, you might like to hang around in bars or points of interest, in landing areas or stations where you can interact with other players. You can find the socializers there too. I expect the role player, however, to draw less joy from playing round after round after round of Star Marine. If you are an explorer, you might want to search for jump points to discover undiscovered solar systems, or you want to explore a planet, producing a video documentary of you driving around in your Ursa rover and discovering new fauna, flora, derelict ships or ruins. Wait a minute, I must absolutely do that myself, that sounds fun. Whatever your playstyle is, whatever it is you draw fun out, it will be all there in Star Citizen, eventually. You just have to grab it, embrace it and enjoy it. Leave the things out you don't like, for this is what you would do at a dinner too, wouldn't you? That's what sandbox games are all about. Do your own thing. By no means are you forced to do things you hate. You don't need to farm up an Idris to PvP or explore a planet. Most of the game content can be experienced in your Mustang or an Aurora, which are your starter ships. And if you want Ursa rover gameplay or swooping around in a Dragonfly, farm up for a freelancer. It's not that hard. Or find a friend who has one, so you can store the ground vehicle in the ship's bay. And if you really hate sitting idle in a gun turret in a multi-crew ship, then don't. Fly your own ship. Bring your own guns for the fight. Your buddy with the Constellation will find other crew members to man the guns, or he will hire NPCs to do that, because that's what NPCs are there for. Because that is what your buddy does when you are unavailable either way. So let's talk about my mates that started this essay in the first place. They are mostly socializer and part-time gamer archetypes. Of course, they would never enjoy sitting aboard of an Idris in a gun turret, waiting hours for the one battle where they are needed to stand their ground. But if you are the archetype achiever or power gamer / champion, you might gladly do so. If there is a chance that your organization might win the space battle, thus ensuring domination of a solar system or a planet or a mine or whatever it is, then they are happy. They have a complete different game plan. I am sure, however, my mates would love to play Star Marine or Arena Commander if it is just half as fun as being beaten up by 7-year-old kids in Dota 2 on their way to 0 MMR. No, sincerely. World of Warships or World of Warplanes are quite fun to play, or Overwatch for the matter. I hope for Star Marine and Arena Commander that they will get there someday too. But to succeed in that, you will need a bigger variety of maps, different game modes and armament for the players to play around with. Shielding, healing, placing turrets or traps would really enrich the gameplay. Also, the 0G could be really fun to fiddle with. I know these game modes are still in early alpha draft, but I feel they could be improved, and I do expect them to. Star Citizen 2.6 is just a tiny step on a long journey. But my mates and I, we would love to play missions in a universe that we can do together, where everyone has a part to play, like tracking down a pirate, rescuing hostages from an asteroid hideout, and so on. In other words, the equivalent of dungeons or raids. Although you have one persistent universe, I don't think that instancing would be such a bad thing. It would open up so many possibilities for interesting gameplay if we thought a little bit further than just manning up a constellation and calling it multiplayer. Let me present you with some basic gameplay ideas I have stitched together. Gameplay could be tracking down a pirate in a multi-part mission and bringing him finally to justice by raiding his base and taking him into custody. Trying to survive and get to the last escape pod in a burning capital ship that is crashing onto a planet, but saving some people or plans or items before you bail out. Finding a lost ancient temple with alien artifacts that is full of traps and defenses. Surviving a crash on a hostile planet and endure long enough to get rescued. I'm thinking about survival gameplay here and co-op survival gameplay. Getting an abandoned ship repaired before it drifts into a sun or crashes into a moon. The company owning a ship could reward you if you succeed. Or think of Mass Effect 3 multiplayer that I thought was actually really good. Besides the real money item shop, but surviving and defending ongoing waves of attackers. Think of pirates or vandals and trying to survive until your rescue shuttle gets you out. Or sports, Settleball, anyone? Or a hacker has taken control of all droids in a mining station and is holding all the station and his employees for hostage. Try to stop him. Or getting to fly a 2, 3 or 4 player ship and try to break a blockade on a planet to get those dire needed resources in. You see, there are a lot of multiplayer things you could do with instancing and personalized missions that just keeps you entertained for 1 or 2 or 3 hours. Or think of global events that change the persistent universe. Vandals or pirates taking over sectors. We will have global efforts to repel them with all kinds of ships. We have to feed the troops and shuttle in resources and so on. Operation Pitchfork, anyone? What about space anomalies that have to be cleared with science and research, like an eruption of a planet core that have to be stopped in time, or diseases that spread and must be stopped, a cure that has to be found in order to keep the disease in check, or terraforming a planet or a moon, or building settlements and colonizing planets or moons, and wars between organizations, or finding clues of an old civilization that has left a sector and gone somewhere else. Think of the Tavarin, for example. But where have they gone? And then you find clues all over the place that could lead to a new system. Let the players social up and try to solve the puzzle. Make it kind of hard like Blizzard does it in Overwatch when hinting for new game characters. What about changing control of a sector or a mine by players via wars or as a reward from a UEE? I don't know how much multiplayer there will be in the end. And of course you can't feature creep endlessly if you ever want to publish anything playable. When World of Warcraft was initially released, and I have played it and was there when it was not the polished game experience it is today. It has grown into it over the years. So how much content will be designed for us to experience instead of having to make up all the content on our own? I don't know, but I'm hopeful. I see a lot of opportunity for expanded fun for all kind of players, but a lot of the game design in that regard is still to be determined. I hope some guys from CIG do listen to this video eventually. Maybe it was totally unnecessary talking about all that stuff in the first place, but maybe not. And this video is a timely reminder to not forget putting the fun into the Star Citizen universe. There are 1001 flavors to what people enjoy and like. Maybe you can't cater to everyone, but you can try to have a menu that appeals to a wide variety of people. I really think multiplayer gameplay should be a great experience. Star Wars: The Old Republic did not achieve that goal. They just went with a lot of wrong gameplay decisions, and in the end they failed in keeping the player base engaged in spite of the Star Wars brand. But Star Wars: The Old Republic had no active player base that participated in game design and gave feedback where the direction of the game should be going. And that is the big difference Star Citizen has. It might not appeal to all of us from the get-go, but over the years it will draw more and more people in, and there will be enough fun in Star Citizen for each and every one of us. And what you make out of it is totally up to you. So, we are already in overtime for this video, and I would like to know what your expectations and dreams for Star Citizen are. Why have you become a backer, if you are one? And if you aren't a backer, what is holding you back? What gameplay do you wish for the most? What do you consider fun? What gamer archetype are you? What gameplay does really turn you off? Just leave your thoughts and comments down below and let me know. Let CIG know. And again, if you like the visuals of this video, I once again abuse the Star Citizen screensaver I have written to provide them. If you are interested in a screensaver too, just click the thumbnail to download it. So, thanks for listening. Brigand out.